You caught me hydrating, which I need to do more of. I know that. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 2 of Let's Talk Live Shopping. I am having so much fun with this new live series. I want to thank all of you guys who are here today with me. No matter what platform you're on, we're streaming all over the place. We are on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, YouTube, X. What am I missing? I think I've covered them all. That's where we are. And if you are with us right now, I would love for you to let me know where you are geographically. I'm always curious about that. And I want to introduce myself in case we have never met before. And I also want to do sort of a high level on what this show is about, because we had a lot of people on last week. I got so much amazing feedback, but I will be honest, I was so excited to be launching this show that I think I was a little bit all over the place. And I don't think I quite explained what the show's about, why I'm doing it, and what you can expect to get from it each week. We are here every Wednesday, 1 o'clock on the West Coast, 4 o'clock on the East Coast, same time, same place. And it's about 30 minutes. I'm trying to keep it. I know everybody's busy during the week. So just 30 minutes of talking live shopping, live commerce, social shopping, whatever you want to call it. And we are going to dig into all different elements of it. We are going to talk about what's happening in terms of success stories. What are companies, what are brands doing with it to really kind of explode their brand, especially this year, 2025 in the US. It's incredible what is going on with live shopping. So I can't wait to share all of that with you because it really is exciting. And in my opinion, it is an incredible opportunity for anybody that has a product-based business. Whether you're an Amazon seller, maybe you are someone who sells on Etsy, maybe you're on Poshmark, maybe you're just direct to consumer with your own website, maybe you are someone that is already in social commerce, selling on Facebook and Instagram, or maybe you're someone with a retail boutique, whatever it is, or maybe you're an inventor who has a product idea that's that's maybe being manufactured and getting ready to launch. Live shopping is for all of you and then some, because there are no limits. It is being used to sell yachts and hotels and real estate and cars, you name it. That's happening in Asia, not quite that much in the US yet, but in the US, live shopping in 2025 is here. It is no longer the future of retail. It is here. And kudos to all you guys for showing up today, because you guys are the ones who are wanting to be on the forefront of it and really wanting to set yourself apart and to find out about what is all there with live shopping that you guys can be taking advantage of. And to introduce myself, I am Marcy McKenna, and I'm hosting this show every week. But why should I be the one hosting this show? And so I kind of do want to explain that I am kind of in a unique situation in terms of live shopping. First of all, I've been screaming it from the rooftops for years and years because I have been in the space for over 15 years on QVC and HSN and Shop HQ and TSC Canada. And then now with modern day live shopping on social media. So Pinterest TV, Amazon Live, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, you name it. I have done it and sort of made it my mission to do all of them so that I can share with all of you what I think is the best, what's working, what's not working. And when I saw what was happening with live shopping this year in America, it has gotten so exciting. And many of you know that for years I've worked with inventors and entrepreneurs and really kind of helped with marketing strategies to help them get their products found. And because it is blowing up in such a big way, I see this as a strategy that I have to share with you guys because I believe in it so wholeheartedly. I have been in that green room at HSN and QVC, and I have watched those numbers. I've seen a very small brand come in, including my own small brand, and seen what it can do for that brand, seen those small brands turn into household names with these very loyal followings. And what's so exciting right now about live shopping is that what I just described there, QVC, HSN, that used to seem like a pipe dream for most e-commerce brands, the small to medium-sized ones especially, inventors as well, that it was just this coup if you could ever get your product. If you could get in the door and get your product on QVC or HSN, that was the end-all be-all. And if you did happen to get your product on one of those, it was so exciting, but it was also very risky because there was a chance that if it didn't go well, they're going to ship everything back to you. So it's sort of a bittersweet moment when you find out that you're going to be on one of those. I, to this day, still have my product line exclusively on HSN right now. And so I'm still in the trenches with them. And it's been very exciting to see that they are now getting into modern day age of live shopping. They are 24/7 on TikTok. And so that's really been fun to watch. And it really opens up a lot of new opportunities for me and my brand and for many of you guys as well. So we're going to talk about that. But why I'm bringing all of this up is to say that guess what? Today, you can have your own QVC and HSN in your living room, in your bedroom, in a corner of your office, anytime you want. You can go live and no geographical boundaries. You are streaming to the world if you want, depending on where and how you want to set it up. But that's incredible. And the barrier to entry for getting into live shopping is so tiny. It is not an expensive proposition at all. There are so many incredible tools and resources out there now that make it so easy to do and are so affordable. And on this show, we're going to talk about a lot of them. Because I again make it my mission to try to use them all so that I can kind of intelligently tell you which ones I think are the best and give you my recommendations for tips and strategies. And another reason I do this is because during COVID, I used to fly back and forth to HSN to do my live shows, and I had producers and directors and hair and makeup and all that fancy stuff. And when COVID happened, I thought, okay, well, we're just going to shut down until COVID's over. But that was not the case. They wanted to keep the show going, but they wanted us to do it from our living rooms. And I about fainted when I heard that. I'm thinking, how am I going to do that? What kind of camera, what kind of lighting, what kind of microphone, what does the backdrop need to look like? All of that. And let me tell you, there was so much trial and error and so much wasted equipment and all of that. And I said to myself, if I ever figure this thing out, if I ever create a well-oiled machine around live shopping, I am going to share it with the masses. And as that happened, I kind of am sort of packaging it up to give it to all of you guys, because I want our community of product-based businesses and e-commerce brands, big and small, to succeed. And live shopping is, in my opinion, one of the very, very, very best ways to set yourself apart and really get your products found and seen, and to connect with all of those sort of browsers out there and have them fall in love with your story and you and your brand and your product to become a lifelong customer. So that's sort of the overall of why I do what I do and who I am. And on every show, there's two things that I really want to accomplish. I want to tackle a topic, something, typically a question that I'm getting from all of you. I have lots of questions that come in, and there's a handful of them that come in again and again and again. And so I'm really wanting to take those and tackle those. And so today, I'm going to tackle, where do you do live shopping? Because people want to get started, but they're saying, do I do it on my website? Do I do it on TikTok Live? Do I do Instagram Live, Facebook Live? What's the answer to that? So we're going to get into that in just 1 second. But the other thing I want to mention that we're going to do on every single show is I'm going to give you a tip or a strategy that you probably won't find anywhere else. These are things that I personally do with my own live shopping events and with the clients that I work with their live shopping events, those morsels that are really working and that I want to share with you guys to ensure that when you get started with live shopping, you kind of start with a bang. Because I do know, and I do want to say, live shopping is not, I really want to set the expectation, it is not this sort of golden ticket where you pull the lever and every time you're live, you're going to make millions of dollars. It doesn't happen that way. It can happen that way over time. So it is a bit of a marathon, less of a sprint, because you do need to create those relationships and those connections and build that audience. Now, there are tips and strategies and tricks and hacks and all of those things to do that much quicker. And so we'll talk a lot about that on this show. But just to kind of set the expectation about what it is and what it's not. So what it is and why it's doing so well in 2025, number one, it is working. And if you, every show, I'm going to kind of rehash the statistics quickly. So in case you're new to Let's Talk Live Shopping or live shopping in general, just so you can get the picture of the main statistics that you'll hear all the time over and over. And they are true. I can vouch for all of them. Some of them I think might maybe even a little bit low. And that is that when it comes to sales conversions, most typically, I think we all know that they're roughly, typical in, a static website, it's going to be around 2.5%. When you throw live shopping into the mix, and if you're good at doing live shopping, they're averaging 20 to 30 times. I'm sorry, I'm saying that 10 times, which brings it up to 20% or 30%, depending on where you are with that. So 20 to 30% conversions versus 2.5% conversions. That alone, why wouldn't everybody be doing live shopping? That is my question. But in my eyes, that's almost like the smallest reason to do live shopping, because the other things that start to happen are return rates go down astronomically, typically around 50% pretty quickly, because you're educating the people on your product, how to use it, how not to use it, giving them ideas for, kind of outside of the box uses for it. So you are setting the expectation with them before that product arrives at their front door of exactly what they're getting. And so there's no mystery there. And so there's no sending it back typically. And then because they are so satisfied, you're also getting those rave reviews. So those 5-star reviews are going up. You're getting a lot more of them, because what happens in live shopping is you're connecting with people and they're getting to know you and they're liking you and you're creating this relationship and they feel almost like part of the company. And so when you send them something, send them an email asking for a review, they are more than happy to dive in with a review. And so that's a really great element of it. The last thing I want to hit on before we get into the topic today is average order value. Because I saw, in fact, my counterpart at Grommet Live, I host a weekly live series called Grommet Live, where I get to feature products across all different categories in live shopping. And he posted something yesterday about what's your favorite strategy for, I think it was yesterday, for increasing your average order value. And that's a big KPI for most companies, is trying to, if they're buying, why can't we take the average order value from $10 to $40? How can we do that? It's everybody's dream. And I chimed in right away. I said, Greg, I know you're not going to be shocked to hear this from me, but without question, the best strategy to increase average order value is through live shopping. It happens every time, because when you're live and you're presenting a product, you have them wanting to buy that product. But while you're live talking about that product, you're mentioning these other products that work so well with it and that really complement it. So whatever that might be. So if you're selling a dog collar, you're telling them about this leash that's amazing. And then here's this accessory to the leash that holds your water bottle. And then, oh, wait, if you have a dog that has skin issues, this is an incredible shampoo I wanted to share with you. So they came to buy the collar, and all of a sudden they're buying all of these other things. And if you happen to mention gifting, that's a whole nother ball game. It just can go through the roof. So it's really exciting what can happen with average order value. So those are just kind of some high level benefits, but there are so many more there. And knowing that they're there is really important, because if you know they're there, then when you decide you want to start live shopping, you can create shows that will really capitalize on each one of those. And so I should have mentioned up top, I am doing a free training workshop all about the benefits, those hidden benefits of live shopping. And in addition to that, it's also my personal 5-step framework for how to start your live shopping initiative, because that's probably the number one biggest question I get is, how do I get started? What equipment do I need? Again, where do I start? What do I say? How do I get people to my event? And so I put together this training because I want to hit all of that so that all you guys can get started quickly. And so that training is in the first or second week of June. And I'm sure Jen, my producer, will put that inside the chat so you guys can all grab that and sign up if you're interested in that. So to the topic, TikTok versus Meta versus your own storefront, because that's a question too. Do I just do it live on my own storefront? And in my opinion, they're all great for different reasons. And if you are a smaller brand who might have a little social following, but not a real robust one that gets a ton of engagement, then I highly recommend starting on social media, social shopping. And that can be done on Facebook, that can be done on Instagram, that can be done on YouTube, it can be done on TikTok. But there's so many benefits to that because you can grow an audience organically without a ad spend very, very quickly. Because what happens when you go live inside of one or all of those channels, that's what I typically do, is I will multi-stream across lots of different channels all at one time. And if the chat gets going, and I can teach you all kinds of strategies to get that chat going and keep people engaged, then each one of those platforms sees that there's something exciting going on, and they work behind the scenes to push this show that you're doing out to all these other people. And so very quickly, you can go from mom and dad being the only ones on your show to hundreds, thousands of people being on the show. And the different platforms, they're actually looking for people who would be interested in what you're talking about. So they're doing that without you paying for anything. It's just a natural part of what they do. It's part of the algorithm, if you will. So that's if you are someone who struggles with what to post and you're not getting any traction on the post that you're making, and you can't build that audience that you want to build, you can do that so quickly through live shopping. And it is so targeted. And so it is important, in my opinion, and I would love anybody to chime in the chat and let me know if you guys have a different opinion on that. But starting there, and if you can do your own website in conjunction with that, even better, because there are ways to actually drive people from those platforms to your website. And when they're on your website, then you can own that data and you can retarget them. You can also do that through different strategies on the different social media platforms as well. But there are platforms out there that make it really easy to stream from your own website. And the benefit to doing that I love so much is what that can do for your SEO ranking. Because think about it, you're hosting a show on your website. Typically, you're going to do a show that's somewhere between a half hour to an hour. And if you're good at keeping people engaged, and even if you're not good at it, they'll be on there at least a couple minutes when they go there. Versus typically someone comes to your website, the average time on page is about 2 to 3 seconds. And so overnight with one show, your average time on page can go way up. So during my Grommet Live weekly live shopping show, my average view time is about 28 minutes. And so imagine what that does to SEO when you have a 28-minute average watch time. And in addition to that, you're also putting fresh content on your website when you do a live shopping show. So Google loves both of those things a lot. And so that, I mean, you just cannot lose by doing it on your own site. I cannot recommend that enough. But then again, there's these tools out there that let you do it on yours. And with the push of a button, you can also be on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. How cool is that? So pretty awesome. Now, what is the difference between Meta? And when I say Meta, that refers to Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. And there's been a lot of news lately about how TikTok is the #1 platform in terms of live shopping, in terms of viewership. In my newsletter this week, I highlighted an article on that, and I said I'm going to share on my show my thoughts on that. And so, yes, they are #1, pretty much by a long shot, in terms of their TikTok Live is doing really well in terms of viewership. But where I think their biggest challenge lies, and I do think there's hope for this for TikTok, but their biggest challenge lies in the credibility of the people who are going live on TikTok and the products that they're selling. People love watching because it's super fun and entertaining and fast paced and all that. But are they converting is the question. And the conversion rate, I will tell you, on TikTok is about 0.5%. So low conversion. And so people that are doing live shopping on TikTok are staying on for several hours because you need to be on long enough to get that volume and the dollars that you're wanting to make. Whereas on Meta, the conversion rate is much higher. It's really around, what was the last statistic? right around 30%, as high as 60%, depending on how you're doing your shows. So quite a bit higher. But then again, the volume, not the volume, I should say, the demographic on TikTok. So it really depends on who your customer is. So before you start a live shopping initiative, really drill down on who your customer is, where do they hang out on social media, where are you apt to find them and to connect with them. And so if you have a younger audience, TikTok might be the call for you, because it is, I think, let's see, 70% of the TikTok audience right now is under 35. Whereas on Instagram and Facebook, the vast majority, let's see what percentage I last saw, only 25% are under 25. And did I not write it down? I think it's close to 60% are over 35. So again, depending on what your demographic is, and if your demographic is both, do them both, because there's, different ways to sell to different people. So there's nothing wrong with that at all. But I wondered whether you could be successful on TikTok if you have a product that does take more time. That's not this quick, fast impulse buy, but you want to really educate the consumer on how your product works and what it does, and really kind of teach them about the niche that your product is in, perhaps. If it's beauty, like really diving deep on skincare and talking about the different ingredients and why they work, and could that work, was my big question on TikTok, because they're not doing a lot of it. But I was thrilled to learn, and I actually met with some big wigs and got the scoop on this. And I was thrilled to learn that now that QVC and HSN are doing TikTok, there is a brand that I'm actually quite a big fan of, Skin, it's Skinn, who does target mostly women over 50, maybe 40 and older. And he really does like to educate on every element of his skincare products. And so his sell is long, his on-air presentation is long. Well, I was thrilled to learn that he is the number 2 seller on all of TikTok Live. So it's proving that you can do a longer sell on TikTok Live and do well. And I loved hearing that, because I actually recently was meeting with Elf Beauty about potentially doing a beauty over 50 show. So that's kind of exciting news. It's not happened yet, but I met there and I got to watch an Elf Beauty show with a regular host that they do. And she was, my guess is she's probably 25, something like that, maybe even younger, and fast paced, and just, I mean, she's a kick to watch. I loved watching, and she is very knowledgeable. She's a makeup artist and all of that. But I thought, that's just not me. Like, that's not how I really want to talk about each product and explain it and show it. And maybe there's just not room for that on the TikTok platform. I think I was wrong. I think there is. And I've been paying more attention to that. So I wanted to mention that, because I'm not sure how many people realize that. It's a no-brainer on Facebook and Instagram. You're really, when you do a live show on Facebook or Instagram, it's more like you're doing a pop-up shop of your own stuff. Or if you're doing it and featuring other people's. It's a pop-up shop, it's an event, it's an experience, it's a party that you're throwing, and you're inviting people in, and then the algorithm is inviting more people in, and you're really connecting and really building a community. Whereas I feel on TikTok Live, it's more like this chaotic marketplace, which works with the younger demo, but it's fast, and how many people are buying versus just having fun doing all the emojis and all of that. So different schools of thought, incredibly valuable on both for different reasons. So again, it comes down to who your customer is, and there are different strategies for the different platforms, and we can go into all of that, which I do want to say, I love your guys' questions. We had amazing questions last week. And what are your burning, like, what elements are you feeling nervous about or stuck about when it comes to live shopping? Because whatever your question are, I guarantee you it will help other people. So don't be shy with the chat. I love for you guys to put those questions in the chat. And if I can't get to them because I know we're time is running out quickly, then I will either get to it on my social media channels or in my newsletter, or I'll address it on the next show. And so I do have a weekly newsletter. So if you want to sign up for that, I call it my no fluff newsletter, because it's not going to be a long diatribe by me. It's going to be me just sharing tidbits, tools, resources, things like that with everybody for live shopping. to help you guys be successful and kind of have a straight path as opposed to having to figure it all out and trial and error yourself. So I'll have Jen put the link to that in the chat as well if anybody's interested with that. And then I'm just going to wrap up with, well, first of all, if there is any questions about TikTok versus Meta, please feel free to put those in the chat. And I do like to save the last couple minutes for answering a couple of those questions. So please do that. And then the tip that I want to talk about, and I probably need a lot more time to talk about it, but I will hit on it because I think it's one of the best things about live shopping. And it's one of the things that if you're just getting started, it can make it really easy out of the gate because it serves several different, I don't even want to call them problems, but it elevates the show that you're doing and the whole everything that you're trying to achieve with live shopping. It just takes it to the next level and makes it all so much easier. And what I'm referring to is giveaways. We've all seen them. We know what they are. And there's different reasons for people wanting to do giveaways in different areas of e-commerce. But when it comes to live shopping, let me tell you the three things that, actually maybe four things that a giveaway achieves. Number one, it is probably the best strategy to drive excitement and to drive or to build an audience for your upcoming show. So you can plaster your giveaway all over the different social channels, put it in your email marketing, put it on your website, so many different places to let the world know about this giveaway and get people signing up for a product that you're going to be featuring or something that's similar to what you're going to be featuring, so that you know that all these people that are signing up for your giveaway, they're already interested or they wouldn't be signing up. So that you are creating, not only inviting everybody to your event, they might win this giveaway, but you're creating a rock solid email marketing list when we all know how important that is. And you can do that very, very quickly with one live shopping event. And then when the event starts, everybody wants to come to find out if they won. And I do two giveaways in every show that I do, one at the halfway point and one at the very end. So I continue to have people entering the giveaway during my show. And because I do it at the very end, the engagement, that's why I have a 28-minute average watch time, because people stay to find out if they won. So it also just makes it more fun and it drives the algorithm, because I'm saying, sometimes I give an extra entry by saying, just put inside the chat a couple words, maybe it's I want to win or something like that. And so you've got all these people putting this in the chat, and the platforms start paying attention to that, and they're pushing the show out to more people. So it's an incredible way to grow your audience and your following. And then it also it's that engagement. It gets people kind of out of their shell, especially if you ask them to say something in the chat. Okay, let's see. I'm getting a few questions, so I'm going to address one in just a minute here. And there are different tools and things that I personally use for my giveaways that make it easy to do. And it also gives you social content both before and after the show, because then you can congratulate the winner after the show. Sometimes I did a live shopping show recently with a skincare tool company that has various skincare tools. They partnered with, what's the name of the spa certificate? It's sort of a global, you could use the spa gift card anywhere. I can't even think of the name of it, but they partnered, collaboration for that giveaway. So they're promoting the gift card, and I don't know if the gift card was donated, but I'm betting it was, because they're promoting it. And so they're getting the audience of the gift card company and their own audience. And so that just kind of amplifies, takes it to a whole nother level. So think about collaborations when you're doing giveaways. And I do collaborations quite a bit. I'll do my beauty case and fill it with a certain skincare brand, and we'll do a giveaway together. And so I'm getting their audience and my audience, and we're both getting a new audience as people sign up. So really, really cool. Let's see. How can I? Okay, so quick question, and then I know we are at the end, so I'm going to just highlight a couple upcoming events and things after I answer this question. How can I find an influencer to talk about my product on Meta or TikTok Live? Great question. And in fact, I will say that is a top question that I get all the time. And whether should I be having an influencer host my event? Should it be me? Should it be someone inside my company? Who should host my event? And what I typically will say is I really like a hybrid. I do think if it is your product and your invention, your product line, your brand, There's nobody better to tell that story than you. And if you're not comfortable on camera, there's ways to get comfortable. And we teach a lot of that at the Live Shopping Academy. But beyond that, you can have my second choice would be somebody inside your company. It could even be your family, someone who is very authentically passionate about the product and the brand, that really gets it and can really connect with an audience in sharing why they're so passionate about that. So in my eyes, and not just my eyes, I've met with pretty much every single live shopping platform out there. And the universal challenge that they have is finding the right host. Part of the reason it's been such a challenge is everybody's thought process was, I need to get an influencer with a ton of followers to make my event successful. Not true. In fact, to the contrary, because many times they're so busy with all their world, they don't have time to even learn about your product before they go live. They'll bring their audience, but the audience just wants to see them. They don't want to buy the product. And the influencer might not know how to talk about the product, so it can actually really hurt the brand rather than help the brand. So I do think that whether it's yourself, someone inside the company is optimal. And then there are hosts that are really good at it, but I would find one that authentically aligns with your product category. And there's different ways you can search things like that on YouTube and Instagram and all of that, and kind of create a short list and reach out to them and see if they would be interested in hosting it for you. And then it can be your choice, whether it's on your website, TikTok, Meta, YouTube, wherever it is, or all of the above. So lots and lots of different options. Having guest experts on is a great, fun show to do, that you'll get a lot of people coming to watch because they want to learn something from that guest expert. And then you'll get the audience of the guest expert and your audience. So that's, another way to really build quickly an audience and build that email list. And because they're there and they're learning and they're being entertained, they really become just sort of one of your raving fans, so part of your tribe. And they're much more apt to buy from you when they're part of that community and when they like you so much, which I'm certain they will. But the thing that I have been surprised about, and everybody who I know who does live shopping is always surprised about this, is how once you get started and you get even just a few people on, they come back again and again. People are loving the live shopping format. It's just recreating that personal experience from their own home. And it's fun and engaging and all of that. So they do come back. And so don't be concerned at all if you are someone with a tiny following or no following, because the truth is, and we're going to talk about this on a whole show that we're going to do on repurposing, but it is, if you have 0 followers, you did the show, you have the content, and it's what you do with that content after the show. You can splice it and dice it into little clips, put those out on social media with links to buy the products, and that can live on for years to come. So 30 minutes is just not enough time for me to share all of the morsels and tidbits that I have for you guys about live shopping. And as you can tell, I hope you can tell, I'm incredibly passionate about it because it works. And because I know right now, especially, being an e-commerce brand is very, very challenging. I know that ad spend is through the roof, and people that are spending through the roof are seeing results that are not so exciting. And so everybody's struggling to set themselves apart and to get found and all of that. And I'm over here going, I've been telling you guys for all these years, live shopping can do it. It is a new way of thinking about retail that has been proven over and over again with QVC and HSN originally. And now you can have your own QVC and HSN. And we're sort of modeling what they did and did so well and bringing it to the modern age. And there is a step-by-step way to do that. And I want to teach it to all of you. And I mentioned it earlier, but if you got on late, I have a workshop coming up that I would love for you guys to be a part of. And that is where I'm really going to unpack my process, my step-by-step to get started with live shopping. So any company that I've worked with, any person, any brand that wants to start live shopping, these are the things that I have them do. And before they know it, they're up and running, hosting shows and building the audience and all of the fun stuff that comes along with it. So that is going to be the first part of June. I think the exact dates are being announced shortly, but Jen is going to put the link to sign up for that, completely free. And I want to get you guys excited about it. And I want to give you guys the tools to do it yourself, because it's kind of nice to have that power back in your hands and not in the hands of the Amazon ad companies and all of that, but you can actually control it. Let's see. Flash Vicky, hi, Marcy spoke about earlier in the show. Did you have a specific? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong question. Can you talk about TikTok? They're asking. And so, yes, I did cover TikTok quite extensively earlier on, so you can watch the show back. And I did cover TikTok versus Meta versus Instagram and Facebook, so you know the difference between the two and what's good about this one, what's good about this one, and to help you determine which one is right for you. And in many cases, they're both right, depending on what kind of product or brand you have, because there's definitely good to both. And it just, the overriding thing that I wanted to highlight about TikTok is the fact that right now it's this crazy chaotic marketplace, and that you have to sell, impulse buy. The average order value, I think, is under $10 on TikTok, and it's more like $50 to $60 on Facebook Live. And so, different markets for sure. But I do believe that TikTok Live, we can get to that same place on TikTok Live, because it's being proven right now with, I mentioned skincare is doing a bang up job of that. But also, as I mentioned, I was talking to Elf Beauty, and we're looking at doing Beauty Over 50. And that's going to be a show that's going to be all kind of tutorial and talking about skincare ingredients and all of that. It's not going to be a crazy marketplace. And those shows are doing well. And the shows that QVC is bringing to TikTok that are already on, the ones with, that are longer shows, they're cooking, they're doing things like that, they're doing well. So I think that part is going to really start to grow on TikTok Live. And so what's exciting, why I'm so happy that you guys are all here with me live, is because that means you guys are wanting to kind of get ahead of the curve with things like that. This is the time to kind of work out the kinks, create your own well-oiled machine. So whenever you want, you can pull that lever, you can go live and generate sales immediately. So just, there's all different ways to look at it, and it's not at all just about sales. We have to remember there's so many other benefits to it. And I almost most of the time I tell people, don't sell. I don't want this to be a hard sell. TikTok Live, a little bit different. But what you're doing with live shopping is you're really creating a trusted, authentic community. They're going to buy. That's all going to happen when they trust you, when they get to ask their questions, when they get to have other people talking about how much they love the product. The buying will happen. And so, take the pressure off yourself that it has to be this hard sell. In fact, I think you'll do much better if it's not a hard sell. Let's see. The workshop sounds great. Excited to look into it. I'm so glad. It's going to be fun. And I have so much to share. As you can tell, I could go on and on and on and on. So I am going to wrap here because I know I'm well over my time limit. And let's see. Okay. My producer's reminding me that I've talked about a lot of different things, a lot of different links and things, things to sign up for and all of that. And I am going to put all of that in the description on all the different channels. So whatever channel you're watching on after the show, we're going to be adding anything I talked about into the description. So you will definitely get all of those links there, but you can also find them on my website, super easy, marcymckenna.com. In fact, I just added a tab at the top that says live shopping. If you click that, you will see at the very top is free resources. I have some cool free resources that will help you guys. My favorite one is the live shopping sales calculator. So if you are interested in live shopping or already doing it and you want to know what your monthly sales potential could be by adding live shopping into the mix, you can use that calculator, totally free, but fun to do, to see what can happen with live shopping. And if you're someone that's teetering about, should I do it, should I not, in terms of getting started with live shopping, that calculator is going to get you pretty excited. And so that's a great one. The other one that everyone loves on my free resources is the gear guide, because everyone wants to know what equipment do I need to get started. And so I do have my own gear guide when I did all my own trial and error, and then I update it all the time with new equipment coming out. So you can steal that on my website as well. And then there's also links to all the different My Grommet Live show. Our next event is on May 29th, and that is going to be at 4 o'clock on the West Coast 7 o'clock on the East Coast. And that is our Father's Day event, which is always a really fun event and makes Father's Day shopping very, very easy. I have so much fun picking out the gifts that I get to highlight on those shows. So hope you can join me for that as well. And of course, I will be back here next week, same time, same place, 1 o'clock on, what is today? Every Wednesday, 1 o'clock on the West Coast and 4 o'clock on the East Coast. So I hope to see you guys then. And if you have any questions in the meantime, you can always contact me through my website. There's a little contact tab. Just go there and I'll try to get all your questions answered. If not via email, then on the next show. So I will see you all then. Thanks so much for joining me. Bye-bye.